Hey guys, Ron here, and for a long time I've been asking myself which Pokemon would be the most beneficial to have by my side. But not only that, which Pokemon would go above and beyond and simply be the best soul they can be? What's the friendliest, most compassionate, heroic Pokemon out there? Well, to determine that, we have to create some kind of criteria. Of course, my definition of heroism won't be the same as yours, but it will suffice. I'll be mentioning a bunch of Pokemon who are forces of good, but the ones who will get the top spots will have to fit 70% of the following. Their entire species has to match these personalities, not just one specific individual heroic Pokemon. They have to be somewhat nice to be around. Their positivity should preferably be intentional, not just a side effect. They should be more helpful than the majority of other Pokemon, a bit brave and selfless, and contain the ability to benefit trainers outside of battle. There will be special cases here and there, but while I'm not gonna blame some of these Pokemon for not being perfect, ultimately the biggest decider will be a good balance of most of these traits. So why is Golduck here? Last I heard, being a cool dude doesn't make you heroic. Well, turns out this duck is a real Aquaman. Golducks are known to rescue people from wrecked ships. Yeah, I'd say Golduck deserves a spot here. Nidoqueen and Kangaskhan would risk their lives for their young ones. That mother's instinct is strong, but it is shared by virtually all intelligent mothers, so they're not too high on the list. Even Dark-type mothers would do the same. Alolan Ninetales is our first honorable mention. It'll guide people who are trapped in mountains and snowstorms, but only because it wants them to, leave its territory. I mean, at least it doesn't attack them. Its actions are heroic, but not the Pokemon itself. But basically, all Chanseys are born to be nurses. It's a gentle and kind-hearted Pokemon that shares its nutritious egg with injured humans and Pokemon. It's one of the most compassionate Pokemon in existence, so it may be the winner. Of course, this also includes Blissey, but this girl is the OG nurse Pokemon. Any Pokemon with such a disposition is a hero in my eyes. Any nurses here? You rock! You deserve a spot here too. That's why Wigglytuff is here as well. We see you, Nurse Wigglytuff. But does Alakazam pass the test? It's an honorable mention because it has the potential to be the most beneficial Pokemon on a trader's side. It has the IQ to destroy humanity, but doesn't. However, it has the intelligence to cure diseases, yet it doesn't, so it's here because Alakazams who are heroic are exceptional forces of good. Machokes are still way more helpful. They willingly do hard, physically demanding work for humans. They enjoy it. Of course, they do it to train their muscles, but no other Pokemon in existence is responsible for such a positive impact on humanity's day-to-day life. So far, they're on the top of the list. The next honorable mention was also on the most evil Pokemon list, Hypno. Yeah, I know, the Pokemon that steals children, but that's obviously the minority of Hypno. The good ones are known to help put insomniacs to sleep. Giving people sweet relief after not being able to sleep is a good deed, so it's an appropriate honorable mention. But let's move on to an actual contender for the top spot. Lapras though. This transport Pokemon, you guessed it, transports people. It has high intelligence and can fully comprehend human speech, so its interactions with humans are super effective. It's such a good Pokemon that even though humans have driven this Pokemon to near extinction, they still trust us. Articuno is an honorable mention because it's said to appear to doomed people who are lost in icy mountains, but that could just be a legend. It's also said that when this Pokemon flies, snow will fall, so perhaps it's the one causing devastating snowstorms. This Pokemon is just the subject of many legends, so of course it will be described as some kind of snow god, when in reality this Pokemon is just some big blue bird going around doing its thing. Dragonite, however, deserves a species-wide medal. They're known to circle the globe, saving entire crews of shipwrecked or lost sailors and rescuing drowning people. It's as kind-hearted as a dragon can be, while also understanding that with its great power comes great responsibility. It should be called Spider Dragon. No, never mind. Never again. No. Spider Dragons will never exist. But Mew is an honorable mention because it's the ancestor of all Pokemon. It didn't consciously do this, and I'm sure all it wants to do is have fun. But such a monumental action can't be left unnoticed, so we salute you, Mew. Time for Johto. An entire family of Pokemon that tops this list is Togepi, Togetic, and Togekiss. As everybody in the Pokemon world knows, Togekiss visits peaceful regions, bringing them gifts of kindness and sweet blessings. They avoid war and are turned off by evil. Togetics share their happiness and only reward those who are kind. I mean, this seems like the absolute spirit of the fairy type. While not all of them are perfect beings, you'll notice the disproportionate amount of fairies on this list, and this family definitely represents the best of the best. Ampharos doesn't top the Togepi family, but shining its taillight as a beacon for ships and lost peeps is pretty nice. It's also super friendly. Nothing wrong with an Ampharos, and remember Alakazam's deal? Well, it turns out Slowking actually does something with its brain and comes up with cures for diseases and answers age-old questions. Problem is, he just straight up forgets it all. I mean, it's not his fault, he's doing his best though, and that counts. But Delibird actively makes people happy. It has a generous habit of sharing its food with people and Pokemon. Like, it makes it its mission to find food and desirable objects for people. Just a good guy over here. Top of the list. Nothing shady about this penguin. Miltank's here because it allows humans to drink its nutritional milk. It's an honorable mention though, since it's not really a hard job for Miltank. It has plenty of milk, and it's not like it's running around giving its milk to those who need it in emergencies. It doesn't risk its life for anything like Delibird here. Suicune goes around purifying water and junk. That's pretty tight. Not like really, that's a big deal. Hopefully this is literally the case, and not just an occasional thing it has been recorded to do. Now stop. Hoenn time. My boy Sceptile's up in here. You know those yellow balls on Sceptile's back? Yeah, those are bursting with nutrients, and it uses them to grow trees. This forest king goes around carefully growing forest plants. It raises them with loving care, not for itself, but for everyone. That's pretty noble. What a good dude. But Gardevoir may top this list. We've seen other Pokemon like Nidoqueen that will protect the ones it loves with its life, but Gardevoir doesn't do it because of some motherly instinct. This Pokemon guards its trusted trainer because it has the heart of a hero and the power to sense and eventually deal with impending danger. I gotta give Gardevoir a top spot. Galay's here too for pretty much the same reason as Gardevoir, but not as high up, since it's more violent and savage, even preemptively attacking first. Altaria singing makes people feel like they're in heaven. Apparently Milodic's beautiful glow has the same effect, but it's not like Altaria and Milodic travel around the world singing to sad people, so they're simply honorable mentions. However, Tropius is a generous fellow. It lets Pokemon and children eat from its sweet fruit. However, Absol is the only dark type who is on the actual list. It appears from deep in the mountains to warn people about upcoming disasters that it senses with its horns. That's literally heroic, especially since it's hated because people mistake it for bringing the disasters. It has sacrificed its well-being to try to save lives. That's courageous to the max, guys. Unfortunately, not actually saving anybody may prevent it from being in the top slots. Rayquaza's here because it guards the Earth from extraterrestrial threats, but it also probably does that because the ozone layer is its territory and it simply doesn't want any aliens invading its personal space. Either way, it's a big help, especially for stopping Kyogre and Rayquaza's quarrel. Thanks Rayquaza for that. Sinnoh Pokemon help too. The heroic Floatzel assists in rescuing drowning people and carries people on its back, so unlike the other water types, this Pokemon is born for this job. Bronzong is here because in ancient times this Pokemon was said to bring rain and plentiful harvests, but that could be a legend or one particular heroic Bronzong. Unlike Landorus, who's on the list because it actually does intentionally bring good harvests, but he's a Gen 5 mon, so let's go back to Sinnoh. Cresselia and Shaman are obvious examples too, since they give good dreams and purify air. Is this what they naturally do? Who knows, but they're definitely forces of true good. It doesn't matter at all at this point since they act purely. Now here's where it gets tricky. The Lake Guardians Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf literally gave humanity the ability to feel, think, and act. Without them, there would be no knowledge, emotions, or will. But they were created by Arceus in order to do this job. So does it count as pure goodness if they didn't have a choice but to do what they were created to do? Here it does, since the outcome was so beneficial to everybody on Earth, and they clearly have their own will, so they're kinda doing this because they want to. But nobody has done more good than Arceus himself. Regardless of its intentions, this thing apparently created everything, and even actively took care and safeguarded the planet back in the day. It would show compassion to those that treated it with kindness, but like a god, violently destroyed those who betrayed him. But at the end of it all, it's basically at the top of the list, but unfairly so, since it's the god Pokemon. That's why I think it's wise that legendary Pokemon with this much power won't be counted in the final list. It's like if someone made a list of humans but included Jesus. The less powerful legendaries aren't disqualified though. Unova's next. Victini is an honorable mention because of course this little guy wants to do you no harm and has the ability to make its trainer always win. However, what happens if an immoral person is in possession of Victini? I don't know, but I do know that Stoutland is probably the goodest boy on this list. This dog is the definition of this video. It rescues people who are stranded in mountains, blizzards, at sea, in space, not in space, but definitely everywhere on Earth. It's also wise enough for people to trust Stoutland to babysit. This thing is perfect, and it doesn't even have any crazy elemental powers outside of battle. Why wouldn't Stoutland be here? Braviary matches Stoutland's heroism too. They fight for their friends without any thought of danger to themselves. It was referred to as the hero of the skies. It's so proud of this title that it will never give up. Damn, what a perfect fit for this video. And Auto is here too, cause nurse stuff. We've talked about it before, so let's move on. Conkeldurr is an unexpected pick, but it is thought that this Pokemon taught humans how to make concrete, and in modern times it still helps them build. If Machoke's here, then this muscular family sure as hell won't be left out. It makes even more sense to include Leavanny. This bug is the nurturing Pokemon, so combine all the rad things I said about Chansey and Nidoqueen and put them together, except for the dying for their children. I don't think Leavanny is bulky enough for that, but it definitely does live for taking care of any Pokemon or child that needs a good hug. And Alomomola is basically just a sea Leavanny, so they're tied. Over in Alola, Magearna exists with the same powers, but it was created for this job, so it's slightly lower than these two mamas. But back to Unova. Sigilyph were the guardians of an ancient city, but that doesn't exist anymore, and this Pokemon is mysterious, so we don't know what this bird thing truly wants. It's still here though, cause it protects. And that's literally the same reason why Golurk's here, except this Pokemon is still used as guards and laborers. They're the most faithful Pokemon too. We just don't know if they're doing all of this because they were created to obey or not, so it's not high up on the list. Even lower in honorable mention status is Volcarona, cause in ancient times this Pokemon provided a replacement for the sun when volcanic ash darkened the atmosphere. Pretty epic, but it could just be a legend. But the heroism of these legendary Pokemon isn't just a thing of legends. The Swords of Justice save Pokemon from wildfires and evil humans. They fight for the weak, and honestly just check off all the criteria I made up for this list. They're literally perfect, but again they're legendaries and even a group, so they have the edge on other Pokemon. Same with Reshiram, who wants to help build a world of truth, while Zekrom wants a world filled with ideals, but they're honorable mentions because they don't really cooperate to build a truly balanced world with both truth and ideals. Kalos Speed Round. Chestnut gets an honorable mention because when it can, it'll protect with its armored body. Florges is slightly on the list because it'll devote its entire life to nurturing and protecting entire gardens. Pangoro gets an honorable mention for being completely anti-bullying even though it's a dark type. Sylveon calms fights and uses its ribbons to empathize with those it loves. However, Xerneas and Zygarde are tricky. They're the Pokemon of life and order. They represent absolute good. Xerneas goes around sharing its eternal life while Zygarde monitors and protects the ecosystem, but they have unlimited power and were basically born to do this job. So is it heroic? I'm just a human, so I really can't tell. That's why Pokemon like these are disqualified from the final list. They're not mortal. And when it comes to Alolan Pokemon, Brionne is pretty mortal. Its heroism shines when it does all it can to cheer up its friends and trainers, even entertaining them to the point of exhaustion. Midday Lycanroc is an honorable mention because if properly trained, it will never betray its trainer, but its trainer could be a bad person, so it's a bit iffy. And last but not least, the Guardian Deities. The Tapus are literally described as heroes, but ones who are fickle and will destroy for petty reasons, but also protect the islands from devastation. I guess they represent nature's madness. Nature is pretty awesome, but will destroy us without warning. They're as heroic as the earth itself. That's why they're the fairy-typed land spirits of Alola. But since they clearly have a will and are shown to save lives multiple times, they're on this list, but they don't top the list because of all the crazy stuff they've done. But who does? Here's the top 10 excluding any legendaries with a base stat total of 600 or above. There are so many heroic Pokemon, but the deciding factors may not only be about saving people, but also risking their own life to save even people they don't know. Number 10 is Machoke, since it's done so much good, but it's technically the most selfish of the top 10. Number 9, the Togekiss family. They do their best to spread goodness, but do avoid harm to themselves. Number 8, Floatzel. It's born to save people at sea. Number 7, Lapras. Like Floatzel, but more intelligent, trusting, and capable. Number 6, Dragonite. It uses its power responsibly. Number 5, Chansey. It makes its business to heal as many Pokemon as possible. Number 4, Braviary. It'll sacrifice its life to battle for good, and it's tied with the Swords of Justice, because I just don't feel perfectly fine with giving legendaries, let alone 3 of them, an entire spot. Number 3, Delibird. The weakest Pokemon here, but sacrifices so much. Number 2, Gardevoir. It's the embodiment of a guardian angel, but it only slightly missed the number 1 spot because it only sacrificed its life for those that it knows. While the number 1 spot, Stoutland, has less power than a Gardevoir, but will save anybody in any situation. No job is too tedious or hard for this good boy. He wins! Stoutland is the goodest boy! But Gardevoir did come close, and if you ever wondered what those red things on the Gardevoir family were, check out this video on Loxton's channel. But don't forget to leave a like first, and subscribe to see more. Make sure to check the description for all the music I used, the link to my Patreon where you can donate to get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can do by clicking the join button as well. Check out the t-shirts I made for you guys, and make sure to follow me on Twitter too. I'll see you guys very soon.